Hey girls, this is lesson 1 on geometry 2, which is based on theorems, okay? So up until now, the last lesson that you learned were based on axioms. Remember we said axioms are statements that we accept without proof. So what is a theorem then, right? So firstly, I'm going to just introduce you to so this is chapter 18 in your books and some of the learning outcomes. So today what we're going to look at, or I suppose what we're going to come across, is some of the key concepts. So we're going to look at the whole idea of triangles, right angles, vertically opposite angles, isosceles triangle, equilateral triangle, scalene triangle, right angle triangle, exterior angles of a triangle, the interior opposite angles, what the hypotenuse is, alternative angles, corresponding angles, a polygon, what is the transversal line, and the side opposite an angle of a triangle. So we're going to recall and use the following theorems as well, okay? So the first thing that I'm going to introduce you to, and I'd like you to take down as a definition, and this could be one of your keywords, is what a theorem is. So a theorem is a statement that may be proved by following a certain number of logical steps. So remember an axiom we said is basically an axiom is basically a statement that we accept without proof, but an axiom can be actually the starting point of a theorem. Okay, so you could actually have an axiom and then create a theorem from it. Okay, so let's continue on. So the first theorem that we're going to look at is theorem 1, and its vertically opposite angles are equal in measure. Okay, so what do we mean by that? So say we're given two intersecting lines. I remember we came across intersecting lines already in geometry 1, and we said that there are two lines that meet at a point, and we vertically opposite angles are angles that have the same vertex and are not adjacent to each other. Okay, so given two intersecting lines, vertically opposite angles are equal, are angles that have the same vertex and that are not adjacent to each other. So with vertically opposite angles, we think of the letter X. Okay, so think of like X factor, the symbol for X. And we have an angle here and we have an angle here. So they're equal to each other and they're vertically opposite. Remember, we know what a vertical line, we know what a horizontal line. A vertical line is straight up. A horizontal line is going to cross here, but they're also this angle and this angle here would be vertically opposite to each other as well. Okay. So angle 1 and angle 2 are equal to each other. Okay, so remember we use the straight brackets then to acknowledge that we're talking about the measurement of the angle. If we didn't have the straight angles there, we would just name the angles. If we had the, because we have the straight brackets now, that means that we are talking about the measurement of the angles. Okay, and also we've angle 3 and angle 4. They're also equal to each other. So the measurements of angle 3 and angle 4 are also equal to each other. So therefore, they are equal to each other through the theorem of vertically opposite angles being equal in measure. So I'd like you to take down that theorem and the diagram as well. So to spot vertically opposite angles, we look for the X shape. So like what we have here, right? So just two lines P and Q, right? So we say we have the line P, we have the line Q, and they intersect at a point. Find angle B and find angle C. So look at the diagram for a second. Look at the diagram for a second and think about what you now know about vertically opposite angles. Could you spot anything? Okay, so let's look at angle 110 degrees. What angle is vertically opposite that we'd be able to guess straight away? It would be B. Okay, so B would be 110 degrees because it's true vertically opposite angles, they're equal to each other. Now, what else do we have here is a straight line. Okay, so there's a straight line here. So we have a full straight angle drawn here. So if this is 110, what would all of this angle added up together be? It'd be 180. So how would we work out C? Just take 110 away from 180 and that would give me C being 70. So angle B is equal to 110 degrees and angle C plus 110 degrees would be equal to 180 as I was saying there. So what do you add on to C, or how do you work it out? You take 110 away from 180 and that is going to give me angle C being 70 degrees. So that is your first lesson today. What a theorem is, Theorem 1 being vertically opposite angles are equal in measure, given two intersecting lines. Now they must meet at a point and they intersect. They must create the X shape. So vertically opposite angles are equal in measure. Okay?